They called it a monster storm, and that is certainly no exaggeration. Milton, I should say, in the strongest storm in the Gulf of Mexico since 2005, and is expected to make landfall tomorrow night.
More than 5 million people are under evacuation orders, and many heeding the warning. Tampa has not taken a direct hit from a hurricane in more than a century.
Not surprisingly, the lines for gas, they're long lines, extremely long lines. Some stations, in fact, have now run out of fuel. And remember, parts of the region are still cleaning up from Hurricane Helene. Just a worst case scenario. We'll head to Florida in just a moment. But first, Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg is tracking this storm. Lee.
All right, Bill and Chad Day, some breaking weather news at 5 o'clock. We are back to Cat 5 with Hurricane Milton less than 36 hours from landfall. We talked about this at 4 o'clock with the satellite looking super impressive once again. So the storm is strengthening. A strong Category 5 with 165-mile-per-hour winds. Landfall is expected near the Tampa-Sarasota area sometime late tomorrow night into early Thursday with a 10 to 15-foot surge. 110-mile-per-hour winds or more with higher gusts, and 5 to 12 inches of rain along with a tornado threat. There will be major impact well inland, and on both coasts there are hurricane warnings. There will be surges and hurricane force winds all the way from Tampa to Orlando up to Jacksonville and Daytona. You see how well organized the storm looks now. Even an area of thunderstorms closing in on the west coast by tomorrow morning or even later tonight. So now a Cat 5, some gusts to 200 miles an hour. It's moving to the east-northeast. It's a little bit more east than the cone has, so we'll see if that gets adjusted with time, and it's sort of bended toward the southern side of this cone, and it looks like it right now. It looks like it's going to go in either on the south side of Tampa or near Sarasota, Bradenton area, and just north of Fort Myers. A major Cat 3 by 2 in the morning on Thursday. Goes over Orlando as a Cat 2 or maybe downgraded to a Cat 1 by the East Coast, and then starts to move offshore. So quiet here in comparison. We have a dry stretch and we have a cool down coming. We're at 66. No impactful weather, just some temperature swings to tell you about. We'll be in the 40s in many suburbs tonight, some 30s off to the north and west. Tomorrow's another bright and beautiful day in the 60s. There is a pretty good cool shot that's coming in on Thursday. This will be our coolest weather in a while as we struggle to get out of the 50s with a very cool breeze. And then after that, we'll start to warm things up into the weekend. Meanwhile, when you look at Milton right now, boy, I'll tell you, you went from yesterday with that clear eye visible, and it kind of closed up, got a little dirtier and weakened a little bit, dropped from 180 miles an hour all the way down more like 145 by morning, and now it's back up to 165. So it's going near what's called the loop current in the Gulf of Mexico. That's super warm, deep water, which will help it strengthen probably over the next 6 to 12 hours. And then you'll start to move into some waters that were upwelled by Helene and also some shear in the northern Gulf. So that may tend to weaken it a little bit. You can see some of the outer bands of rain getting close to Tampa right now, at least the initial rain and a couple of isolated downpours, which must be very unnerving for people who live there because it's just a sense of, okay, time is running out to get prepared and to leave the area in advance of this storm. Much more on the track and our own AccuWeather forecast in just a little bit. Bill and Chad, back to you for now.
Your sense of urgency is really spot on, Lee. And look at this photo. This is what it looks like when you fly straight into the mouth of a roaring hurricane. You're looking at NOAA's hurricane hunters. They're flying directly into Milton.
And the driving rain so extreme. I mean, you can barely see the plane's propellers through the window. ABC's Victor Oquendo is live on the ground in Sarasota, Florida. And Victor, are the people listening to the evacuation warnings there?
Sade, Bill, I would definitely say that they are evacuating, especially in those coastal communities, but that is creating another problem. It is becoming increasingly harder to find gas. This gas station in Sarasota, one of the few with any fuel remaining, but it's drying up quickly, and as you see behind me, the line, it's only growing.
Basically, the entire peninsula portion of Florida is under some type of either a watch or a warning.
If you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
With so many people evacuating, we've seen that heavy traffic ourselves. In order to ease congestion, tolls have been temporarily suspended in some spots, and the shoulders on I-75, they have been opened up as well.
It is bumper to bumper to the point where we were standstill, not moving for an hour at a time.
It's been I would say, a tremendous task to get gas because if you drive from different areas, like during the course of the day, it was like difficult because when you drive by, people don't have no gas.
Now, you will definitely see those long lines at gas stations throughout Florida. Officials say currently there is no fuel shortage and more is on the way.
A little aggravating. You gotta have patience. A little aggravating. You gotta be patient and just, determined and just have grace.
As far as flying out, that will not be an option for much longer. Operations will be suspended at Tampa's airport.
We're not going to be evacuating as of right now. So I think we'll just tough it out. We got shutters up. The house is all ready.
Listen to the local authorities. Follow safety instructions, including evacuation orders. This is serious. You got to be safe because people are dying.
And at last check, according to Gas Buddy, more than 1,300 stations statewide are now without fuel. No surprise, the worst of it, Tampa, St. Pete area, more than 40% of gas stations there are now dry.